Alright, so this video is for editing your image sequences out of Maya so that you can, make a film, okay, like a video that you can watch on a computer or whatever. But what this one's going to be for, the one video is going to be for After Effects. This one is using a different piece of software that's free, so if in case you can't install After Effects or you don't want to install After Effects or you don't have access to it or you want to learn like a different piece of software, that's what this is. Okay, so this is for, there's two ways of doing it. You can either use After Effects, which I'll have one video for, and then this one is if you don't want to use After Effects, maybe you just want to learn about a different one. Okay, so first thing you're going to need though is you're going to have your film. This is not a lab. By the way, you don't have to complete this on our lab. This is for you to complete your own film, okay? All right, so first thing you need to do is on your project, you should have rendered it, which is what we covered in the lab previously to this one, which I think was like the week 13 lab. I showed you how to do the lighting and the rendering. So you'd want to render out your image sequences, such as was described in that video, and then they will actually render out to your images folder in your project folder. So if you look at here, I have my images folder, and then you can see basically it's just a series of pictures, but if you were to play, if you were to play them, like if they were frames in a video, if I click this very quickly, you can kind of see him moving. Okay, so basically each one of these frames is part of that video. But you don't export out videos out of Maya for various reasons. So that actually doesn't really work, right? I mean, it's cool to have some rendered pictures, and that's great, but I actually want to make them a video. So what we're going to use is actually a program called HitFilm, which I think it's fxhome.com. Yeah, so it's called FX, like effects, home, right here, fxhome.com. And basically, you can go on here, and then I think if you scroll all the way to the bottom, let me see. Well, you can scroll all the way to the bottom. You see what it says, HitFilm Express, free. You can click on that, and then you're going to have to go through, and it's going to, you download HitFilm Express. And then it'll be like, you want to buy it. All you got to do is just drag this all the way to the left, because you say, yo soy muy pobre. It makes them have tears, but they'll live with it. Then you click on download, and then it'll let you download it. I think you have to make an account, and then you use that account basically to activate a key, and so on and so forth. You can just follow the instructions. They actually don't do a very good job guiding you through it, to be rather honest. So, but you'll download it. They'll give you a download link, then you'll install it, and then it'll ask to activate. And then it'll send you back here, and then it doesn't really give you any information. But I believe what you need to do is actually create an account. I've had this for a while, so I didn't have to create an account, but you'll have to create an account and then use that in order to activate the software. All right. So anyways, that's what we're going to be using is HitFilm. So you can see I have this stuff here. I'm going to go ahead and do HitFilm. Hopefully it's this one. I don't trust it there. Hang on a second. HitFilm Express. And then this is going to pop open, and I'm probably going to pause my tutorial video just because my computer is very slow. So I'm going to pause it here. All right, it'll load up, and it's got this very, I'm trying to sell you stuff. But you got to remember it's free, so that's understandable. It's actually a really nice piece of software. But they have all these little YouTube video tutorials, and you can see you can do really cool effects. Basically, what this software is built for is literally to do, special effect films, but for prosumers, meaning people who aren't professionals necessarily, although you could probably use it. But, they're above, just a general consumer. They're not just doing home videos. That's what this is made for. But it's really good at integrating 3D and particles and things like that. It does a lot of the same stuff that After Effects does, but for free. So this is actually personally the program that I use for my video editing. It's not because it's the best. It's because I don't have to pay for it. And I like the flow of it. Okay. It's going to open up like this after you activate it or whatever. You're just going to go to New. And then it's going to have a bunch of basically the standard resolution stuff. What we want to do is the HD 720, because remember we rendered by 1280 by 720. Durations currently is 5 minutes, which is fine. Doesn't really matter. We can change that after. 1280 by 720. We want square pixels, but you see that it's loss frame. So we actually want to do 24, not 23 point whatever, 9.6, then hit OK. Hopefully this will load up. I might have to pause it again. The program's a bit, like I said, it probably will run fine on yours, but mine tends to struggle with large things. So it's going to pop open. Should look something like this. And is it open? Okay. So first thing we need to do is I'm going to click on the media section. So you see there's media, effects, controls. We don't really need anything with that, and history. We're really only going to use these two sections. And then it has a video editor here. So if you've ever used Premiere or what is the other one now? Final Cut, or I don't know, Avid, or whatever video editor that's out there. This works basically the same way. So if you have any kind of familiarity with that, you'll feel very comfortable here. What we need to do is import. Don't just click on import, because if you click on import, it's actually going to bring in a single picture, which is useful, but not useful in our case right here. So I'm going to hit the little arrow here, and then you can see I can choose an image sequence, which is what I want. Then what you got to do is navigate to that images folder. I'm going to select the very first picture, so shot 1, 0, 1, blah, 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 right? Open. Boom, there's my first piece of footage. You can see it's 2 seconds. Great, because it was 1 to 48. I need to import my second shot. Right-click, image sequence. And I got to scroll down till I get to shot 2, which is right here, the very first frame. See, this one ends here, and then it starts here, and then open. And now I have my 2 clips, and it treats them just like footage. If you need to change any settings, you can click on that here, but you can see this is 2 seconds and 2 seconds and 8 frames. Okay, great, pretty simple. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click and drag it over here. Woohoo! Click this one and drag it over here. And you can see they're very thin because this is 5 minutes. So I am going to go ahead and truncate this. We'll say to here for right now. You just go to the end there, you click it and drag it, and now that's my timeline. Okay, I'm going to zoom in by clicking on the little mountains here, just so I can see a little bit better. And then if you hit spacebar, you'll see it'll play your film up here, and voila. Oh, it's so great. Okay, but just works just like a video editor. So if you're used to doing anything with this, you can drop your audio. If you want to put audio in here, you can just, again, import. You can probably just click import. I doubt you're going to have to. Yeah, I would just click import. Import your audio. You can drop it like a top right into there. Okay. That's all great. So you just drop it in there. That should be pretty straightforward. Now, what I like about this, and this works just like any other video editor, so you have your way of like slicing and all that other stuff here. What I like about this program, though, is that it's sort of like After Effects and Premiere combined. So if you look, my shots are too dark, right? So I need to lighten them. So what I can do is I can go here, and I can do this one of 2 ways. I can just straight up go to my effects and then go over here. And this is what we're going to do, but I'm going to show you another way of doing it afterwards, just because I think it would be useful for you. So I'll go down here, and you'll see there's a bunch of effects. Now, just so you get an idea, if we go to, like, let's say Generate, that'll probably have a ton of them. See how they're all add-ons? Basically, the way that they make their money in this program is that they charge you for plugins. So they can do all these cool effects. A lot of the effects that, like, are things that After Effects can do or other programs, this can't do by default unless you pay for the effect. And I don't know how much they are. I'd have to look it up. But I honestly have never been limited by it. I've been able to work without it, especially what we're doing now. You're not going to need any of these things. They're like cool things like sparkles and tracking and things like that. Anyway, so that's what these all show you. But we don't need the Generate. What I want to do is go up to color correction. And then you can see we have a bunch of different options here. Okay. And what I am going to do is let's do auto levels. And I'm just going to click and drag and drop that onto this. And you can see it goes right on that guy. And you can see it's much lighter. But if I go over here, now on the controls, because I'm not in the effects, it will actually show me, here's the clip properties. There's no blending modes on this, because we don't need any of that. And we're not putting motion blur on it. But right underneath it, we see we have effects and we have transform. So we could move it as well. But we want to go to the effects section. I'm just going to minimize these so they're a little less in the way. And basically, there's threshold and blend with original. So I'm going to take threshold and I'm going to leave it relatively low. And I'm going to blend with original and bring the original back some. Like that. And now that looks considerably better. So watch, this is on and this is off. right? Definitely brightens up my day. And there's a bunch of other effects in there as well, so you can play around with them. I'm not going to go through and show you them all, but you can just drop them on there, and then the controls will pop up, and then you just adjust them. Okay, some of them are much more complicated, some are very simple. You can see this one's pretty simple, right? So that's great. The other way of doing it is this. Now you can do that for both clips. I have this other clip here. The other thing you can do is that on a clip, you can right-click over top of it, and then you can go Make Composite Shot. And you're going to see it. Take Composite Shot Properties, Selected Clip, leave here. These are on. Yeah, okay. Make sure both those are on. Hit OK. And you're going to see a little tab will pop open over here. Okay. And then you'll see basically this clip, right? Now, if you've ever used After Effects, this is basically will run the same way as After Effects. Where in a video editor, you'll notice that when you put clips in, let me go to Media, you will grab clips and then you like pop one after the other. But notice they all exist in the same timeline and they don't coexist. Now, it is possible to put another one above one, but that's not usually the way you work. Usually you make them go across, right? Now it's, let me see. There we go. But usually you just put one right after the other. When you do this sort of method, which is a composite shot, what that's going to do is it actually will stack them, and you can't put one right after the other. So, for instance, this already put that piece of footage in here, so when I scrub across, you can see it over here. But watch, if I were to take this shot, this one will not exist on the same timeline. I can slide it, and then I could take this one, and we could do effects. And so you can see it'll do one, then the other. I put the same shot in, so that wasn't really much help. Let me put the other shot in so you get an idea. Okay, so you can see one right after the other, and then what I can do is underneath this, you can animate keys. So you click on these things, and you set keys, and you set another one. So for instance, if I want to do some sort of blending thing, I could do an opacity key here, go to the end, take my opacity all the way down, and then you're going to see that that's going to blend off, and the other one will blend in. I'm just going to click on that key, delete it, and we'll actually, I'm going to delete this too. But it allows you to do basically compositing things where, like in Photoshop, where you can have layers of your images, right? And then you can blend them all together. That's what the composite shot lets you do. I can put all these layers on top of each other, effects, and put multiple characters in one thing, which is really important for 3D because we didn't do it with ours. We just did what we call a beauty pass, which means we just rendered everything. But normally what we do is you render the character separate and the background separate, and you render shadows, and you render specular highlights, and you render like an object, that is separate, an ambient occlusion pass, all sorts of different things. We didn't do that here, but that's normally what you do. So you'd have all these different renders of all the same shot that you want to combine. You would do that in this composite shot, and that would be cool. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and extend this back over, and I'm just going to go ahead and put an effect on here. So we'll just do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and just do the auto levels. Drop it on this guy, and then we've got the auto levels, expand it, and then we will blend with original a little bit, which actually this one needs quite a bit. Let's see. Let's brighten that up a bit because he's really dark in this one. There we go. And blend with original a little bit. Okay. All right. So I know we kind of did the same thing as we did earlier, but in here it'd be much easier. I could set keys. See this little thing? I can click on that, set a key, and then turn it on and off and all things like that, right? So for instance, let's throw another effect on here where we do brightness contrast, okay? Because he's on a monitor, right? So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to drop it on here again, and I'll collapse this effect. I'm going to open this effect up, and then, let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I put auto levels again? That's not what I meant. I wanted brightness contrast. I was like, why is that not doing anything? There we go. Okay. And so brightness, dark, light, right? Okay. So what I could do is, let's say, he's on the computer, right? So let's say I want it to get like brighter and darker. I could go through, and did I put it? I don't think I put anything in there. Well, I go through, and I could key on this, and then key it a little bit darker. Right, so I made a key, and then I could go a couple after, and key it brighter. And then go a little bit after, then key it darker. Go a little bit farther after, key it brighter. Give the appearance that, well, it makes it more look like there's TV running, but right? So now it's going to go up and down. Okay? So you can see it's doing that, and that's cool. All right. But it gives me more minute, like I can really get into the details of it. But you might not want to do that when you're doing a really big film. You want to just put your clips in. Okay. So when you're happy with it, you don't have to do anything. Literally, I'm just going to exit out of this tab. And then that is now the shot that's in here. So if you look, it'll say, if I hover over it, right there. You see it says Composite Shot? So that's the composite shot that I had before. And it also has an audio clip, which I don't need. I'm just going to unlock. Can I unlock it? Or, oh, there you go. Unlink. And I'm just going to go ahead and delete. Okay. There it goes. Okay. I don't need the audio from it. But anyway, so that's what it's going to do. It's going to, you can put a composite shot in there, and then you can do all sorts of effects and things inside of the composites. Or you can just throw the effects directly on there. Either way will work. Okay? Yeah. So we've got that going on. Now, if I wanted to do something where, like, let's say I wanted to, like, have a title in the beginning, I'm just going to move this over. Let's zoom in a couple. So I'm just going to make it, let's say 1, 2. We'll do, I don't know, 2.5 seconds. Say we'll go like here. Okay. I want to put a shot in here of of a thing here, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over here and click New, and we're gonna do a new plane. Okay. And we will just do black. That's fine. 1280, and we'll just call it black. I'm gonna slap this guy in here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure he's like that, and then I'm just drag it back down. Okay. Come on. Go there. There he goes. Okay. So now I just have this black screen, and I'm just going to go ahead and make this a composite shot. So I'm just going to right-click over it, make composite shot. That's fine. Hit OK. You'll notice that all your composite shots show up over here too. And then I just want to add a new layer over here. So you can add layers of solids and all these other things, but I want to add text. And then we will just say, dumb film by dumb guy. Okay, there it is. Now, if we go to the, let me see if that would be in control. Where's my text stuff? Let's see. Where's my text stuff? Window. Where is it? Let me see. There's that. Should be able to control this a little bit better. Material. I haven't used this a little bit. There it is. There's the text. Okay. There's my text section. The arrow didn't come up. Okay. So there's text section, and you can change your font and stuff here. You know how to do text, right? Nothing too fancy there. But I'm just going to say that that's good enough. And then we could throw effects and stuff in there too if you want to play around with it. I don't really want to go too crazy with it because I just want you guys to be able to get your film together. So you don't even have to do a title sequence if you don't want. It'd be good to put something in there, but it's not required. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. And now it says dumb film by dumb guy. And then we have our guy coming in. And there's our film. Okay? So, yay! Let's go ahead. And I am just going to back this up. And I want this ending. I'm going to click, and I'm going to hold shift to make sure it snaps. Oh, it didn't snap. So I guess we just, what is not snapping? It's weird. Okay. So we're looking at like 7 seconds-ish. Okay. So we're going to say that that's good. What I want to do now is just export it. So I'm going to click on the export tab. And then it's got YouTube and all this other stuff. So I am going to not do YouTube. Oh man, is that all their options are? Wow, they got like ultra whatever. Uncompressed AVI with alpha. That's kind of cool. So this is probably one of the things to queue and export content area or export. Let me see. I'm not a huge fan of all this, so I'm just going to go down here, and we can click on export. If you click the arrow, you can tell it to export now, and you'll see in-out area, which is the pink area that we just made. That was our in-out area. Or you can export contents, which also was helpful. But what's going to end up happening is it's going to go ahead and it's going to export out whatever the default is. So it's still going to be that HD thing, which I don't really want. But I'm just going to go ahead and do, let's do into-out area. and then you'll see it's going to go blah, blah, blah. It's going to add it up here, and then you can kind of keep an eye on it, and it will tell you basically when it is done. I'm not sure what that's even saving to, but and I'm going to pause it, and then when it's done, I'll show you it. All right, when it says finish, you know it's done. You can click on it right here, and it'll bring you right to the file. So it saved it to local disk users, blah, blah, blah. So I don't want any of that crap, so I'm going to take it after it made it, and I'm just going to drop it onto the desktop, because that's not really where I want it. And then that is it. I'm not going to bother saving this, but you could save your project. Just, you know, save it where you would want it to be. I'm not really as concerned about that, so I'll just close this out, discard, and then if I double click on this, you'll see we have a video, and there it is, dumb film by dumb guy, and then we got our guy walking in, he's like, oh no, and he's upset because his computer stinks. It's a true story. Okay, that's basically how you work that program. Now, I know I went like super fast and I went through a bunch of different stuff. Really what you'd want to do, if you have any interest in video editing, I would definitely, you know, explore it more. If you do know anything with video editing, you know, take a look at it, try it out. It's a pretty cool program. I like it. If that's something you want to do in the future, Cecil has a bunch of video classes, and they actually cover more in depth After Effects. But this is pretty similar, particularly when we get in the composite section. Yeah, that's it. So if you run into issues, let me know. But what I would like you to do is using either this tutorial or the After Effects tutorial, I just want you to clip together a video that you can then share to the discussion boards and such. Okay, that way it's an actual video that everyone can view. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of still frames. All right, have fun with it. Good luck, guys.